Hey everybody, it's your pal Globador and we're back in Kerbal Space Program. Today we're going to be doing another Mars mission, reusing the vehicle that we built in the previous one. So if you haven't seen that video, we constructed a new Mars vehicle. We had a core stage, a propulsion stage, 2 fuel tanks, and some modules for exploration like a Mars lander and a Dybos lander as well. Now, if you watch that video, you'll know we eventually returned home with the core stage and the propulsion stage and got it into a low Earth orbit. And this is what we're going to be using as the foundation for this mission. It saves us constructing an entirely new vehicle in orbit, although this construction was equally as long, some might say. So yeah, there's still a lot of work to go into these Mars missions, but at least I'm not building a new vehicle, completely new vehicle every time. I'm just replacing parts that need replacing. So today I thought let's do a base, a surface base, and there's a few things we need to accomplish that. First of which being a rover. So that's the first launch that you're looking at now. We're sending up a rover to rendezvous and dock, as you can see. And this is going to be important for ferrying the astronauts from their landing site to where the habitation module ends up landing, because landing exactly where you need to can be quite tricky, so having the rover just makes things a little bit easier on that front. And we're just getting that docked up now. That's worth mentioning, I did switch from KSRSS to the Sol mod the last time I did this mission. So what I had to do was construct a copy of what we had in orbit in the VAB and then drain the fuel to match the correct amounts from the previous save file. So that's what I've done, and then I hyper-edited that into orbit. So for all intents and purposes, it's as if the mission had happened and we're carrying on in the same save. It's just obviously when switching to Sol I had to port that craft over and put it in the same orbit. So it's in the same orbit, it's got the same fuel values, it's got the same design, we're just adding new modules to it. The module I'm adding here is the habitation module, and I wanted to base this off the Asimov lander design. If you type in Asimov Mars lander, you'll see what I'm talking about. And this was a design that was proposed in the sort of late 90s, early 2000s, around that period, for a Mars lander. I'm not sure how far in development it got or how seriously the proposal was. I just thought it was a really cool design. So we're launching that into orbit now, and the idea is it's a very horizontal design, so it's not very tall, it's very short and wide, and we have engines concealed inside cargo bays, we have solar panels concealed inside cargo bays, and the habitation module has the heat shield on the bottom. And once we've re-entered the atmosphere, we can open parachutes, uncover the engines, and use those to eventually slow us down enough to land. It's hard to get a exact replica or a close replica in Kerbal Space Program. The design is has some shapes that you can't really make in this game, unfortunately, so I've just worked with what I had. I used it more of an inspiration rather than trying to copy it directly. So this is what we've got. I was quite happy with how it turned out in the end. I went through a few design ideas for this, but eventually I settled on what you see now, and it works really well. I put some tiles on the bottom using the conformal decals mod to create the sort of look that there is a heat shield on the bottom there as well, and that just gives it a bit more realism, I guess. And there it is attached. So I did mention I had to port the vehicle over. Now there was a major problem when I put it in orbit. I realised I haven't attached docking ports to the tanks, so I can't add extra fuel tanks. So rather than going back and hyper-editing a new one up, I thought, you know what, let's make this part of the video, let's make this into a mission, let's use the Vigilant shuttle to rectify this. Let's imagine that there was a design problem and this is necessary to fix, right? It's a bit like a sort of Hubble rescue mission sort of vibe. So I'm setting up the Space Shuttle Vigilant here, which is one of my designs, and we're going to send up a big boom arm attach the shuttle to the spacecraft and get someone on an EVA to attach the new docking port. So we're just getting a rendezvous first, as per the norm. Just a slight inclination change here, and we'll be on our way. I like my shuttle, this Vigilant shuttle, for these sorts of missions. It's really good for fixing things, servicing things, crew retrieval from stations. It's good for smaller payloads, things like that. It really shines here. It's got enough delta V to make rendezvous quite comfortable. The RCS system works really well for manoeuvrability, so it's easy to dock. Yeah, I just really enjoy using the shuttle for all sorts of missions. It's one of my favourites. Here is the boom arm coming up, and you can see I've attached 2 docking ports to it on the side, and those are going to be what we use on the EVA. Here we go, docking up. It's nice to use the EVA stuff in this game. I rarely, if ever, use a lot of the functionalities like EVA, apart from just getting out and having a look around. So actually needing it for something was cool, and I enjoyed the fact that I got to use it in a way that was actually productive, adding new bits to the spacecraft, doing some servicing style stuff. When that update came out, I think it really added a lot to the game, and that's a long time ago now, but it was a much needed addition in my opinion. And here we are docked up, and I believe it's Bill that gets out to do the servicing, because he's an engineer. So here he is on the side of the spacecraft, and he's going to make his way up, taking the ports with him, and he's going to attach them onto the spacecraft so we can dock our fuel tanks back up. Here we are, we're just moving them up the side. Gonna get that solar panel out of the way, and we're gonna attach them on. I do enjoy EVA. It gives you more of a sense of scale of your vehicles. You know, you get to see, actually, this is quite a large spacecraft in comparison to Bill here. It's seriously big. Like, when you're in the normal screen, it doesn't really give you a sense of scale sometimes, but stuff like this really does. And we're just making our way back down to the shuttle. I'm going to get them out, get him back in, excuse me, and be on our way. Undocking here. And we will be able to now send up the fuel tanks needed, refuel it, and get it on its way. Getting a few re-entry shots here. I always enjoy showing off these shuttles. I spent a lot of time working on them, so I'm going to get my time's worth. Looking good with the Firefly mod as well. It's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here. And just like a banking maneuver here to line us up with the space center. I'm doing a few S-turns as well, just to lose some additional speed. That's going to help us not overshoot too far. Now, I did have a comment. Someone was having trouble with the craft files here. You can see I've turned off moderate angle of attack and moderate G-forces, and that can be quite useful for keeping the nose pointed where you want it during the re-entry. Sometimes the shuttles want to nose forward a bit, but you can just fix that by disabling moderate AOA and moderate G. And we're just going to do a little energy burn here by doing a loop, and that's just going to kill some of our speed, kill some of our altitude, and bring us lower down. We're too high up otherwise. And we're just coming in here now for the landing. You do need a bit of a steep approach with these shuttles as they are not super aerodynamic. Lovely smooth touchdown. And now we can launch our fuel tanks. And for that, of course, we're going to use the hitchhiker. We're going to send up some heavier fuel tanks today because the extra cargo we're bringing along might necessitate the fuel. I thought better err on the side of caution, send up the bigger fuel tanks just in case. So we've added some extra fuel to these tanks, or we've increased the size of them rather, so we can add extra fuel. So this is by far the heaviest payload set up so far in terms of this shuttle's operational history. Just getting rid of the SRBs here. Now there are 2 of these flights. I can only send up one of these big tanks at a time, so we'll go through this first one in a bit more detail, and the second one we'll just quickly brush through it because you don't really want to see the same thing twice, right? So it's all very business as usual, doing our rendezvous, doing our dockings, nothing too out of the ordinary if you've played this game a lot. And it can be very relaxing. I do find it a little bit tedious sometimes, especially when I want to do the cool part, which is, you know, going to Mars and landing and stuff, but you do got to do all this setup first. There are other ways to do these sorts of missions, but I find this way, A, gives me the most success, and B, I find it the most satisfying. I love using my shuttles to build stuff, so that's why I do it. And there's the fuel tank. Same as before, we're going to approach. The docking force is up to 200% because I cannot connect the tank with the while it's attached to the shuttle because the cockpit sticks out too much. So we're just going to get as close as we can, let it go, and release it. And that's how we attach them. You can see it's a bigger tank than last time. It sticks out down towards the engines a bit more than previously. But we've attached the first tank here, and we're going to bring Hitchhiker home. Once again, we get to enjoy some beautiful Firefly re-entry effects. And we're going to do some more banking in order to make sure we kill the speed that we need to kill and lose the altitude that we need to lose as well. I want to know how you guys do some of your missions. Do you guys like to build things in orbit like I do? Do you just send things directly there and sort of a Mars Direct style? Or do you do Mars orbit rendezvous? What kind of mission architectures do you guys like to go for? Let's start a bit of a discussion in the comments on this one. I think that would be a good idea. Coming in for the landing here. Pretty much the same as last time, just doing a little half circuit, or I guess it's a full circuit really, isn't it? I just don't have a upwind leg. And we're coming in for the landing now. Bit of a bouncy one, but that's okay. We made it work. We're in one piece, and that's what matters. And here's the second fuel tank launch. This one's going to go by a bit quicker. Don't want to hang on this too much since it is effectively the same as the last one. Just going to get a few nice shots, and we'll call it a day for that part of the mission. Apart from these, I need to send up another one to refuel the core stage because that is low on fuel, and I need to send up the Mars descent and ascent vehicle as well. But we're just going to get this fuel tank attached first, of course. We're just going to speed through this bit. If there's any other sort of crafts you want me to try and build as well, do let me know. People seem to enjoy these shuttles. I've had a few positive comments about them, and people have been trying them out, so I'm glad to see that. If there's any other sorts of things you want me to build and share on the workshop or as a download link, just let me know. I'm happy to build some more to provide for you guys if people enjoy them. And I can decorate them in the style that we've gone for previously. And there is the second tank attached, as I mentioned. Spacecraft's really coming together now, starting to take the shape we want. get this one home as well. Gonna get our, I'd say money's worth for the Firefly retro effects, but the mod's free, so I plan to visit some other planets as well at some point. I want to do some flybys with some of the gas giants. I think they're really cool, and maybe land some rovers on Titan or Venus or something. Another bumpy landing. This one's probably the hardest to land. It loses the most energy when you pitch up, so there's not a lot of time to hover. You sort of stall and very quickly, and that's why I sort of slam it down on the runway there. Another hitchhiker. This thing gets so much use now. Honestly, it's my go-to for any heavy payload. It's fantastic. And we're using it to refuel the spacecraft. So we're going to get that rendezvous docked up, and we're going to transfer the liquid fuel from the tank inside the shuttle to the tanks, the core tanks on the spacecraft, which I still don't have a name for. If you guys have any names, please let me know. I haven't named it at all, and I did mention that in the last one. I failed to name a lot of my stuff, so if you guys have any ideas, I'm open to ideas. I did name the base part though. That is called Homestead, so at least I named some of it this time. Just get that rendezvous. This is probably the most challenging part of the construction here, because I have such small margins for delta V. I mean, you can see I've got 97, well, less than that now, so by the time I've docked up I've got barely anything left, so I have to use a mixture of fuel that I've got left and monopropellant to complete the mission, but that's fine, we make it work. You can see we're docked up here and I'm transferring that fuel, and here we are on the landing. Don't want to hang around too much on this one, otherwise we'll get sick of it. Too many hitchhikers. I've used 3 or 4 of them in this mission so far. Unfortunately, I had some corrupted data. I was launching this part of the mission and my computer crashed and the OBS recording was lost, and I really didn't want to fly it again, so we're using a shot from previously. It's the same rocket that I launched this part on, so this is effectively unchanged, and it's this part. This is familiar if you've seen my other videos. This is the Mars descent and ascent vehicle, so this is a known quantity. You would have seen this before if you've seen my last videos. But the main difference here is I've attached some monopropellant tanks to it, because I need to transfer some monopropellant to the main spacecraft, and then we can detach that service module stage that we don't need anymore afterwards. So yeah, that's one small difference there, but if you guys have seen my last videos, you'll know what this is, because I've shown it off a few times before. And we're just attaching that now, and that is the completion. I also had to move the habitation module, as you can see, 90 degrees in order to facilitate the attachment of both the fueling shuttle and the landing craft as well. So if there's a difference there, that's why I just undocked it, used the RCS to adjust it 90 degrees, redock it. There's no tricky task, but we've burned the engines now and we're heading to Mars once again, and this this was the longest burn I've ever done. It was a 47-minute long engine burn. Thankfully at 4x time warp that was about 16 minutes or so, or around that. Because of the lag it wasn't exactly 4x, but yeah, this took a little while, but you know, I can walk away, come back. I don't have to watch it the entire time. I just have to come back every 10 minutes or so, and every 5 to 10 minutes, excuse me, and make sure that I'm moving fuel from the outer tanks into the inner tank so the burn continues. So it wasn't a big deal in the end, and we got some really gnarly shots here as well. Now while we're doing this burn, I do want to mention I will be making a music video sort of cinematic out of this one as well. I've got lots more shots I need to use that aren't in this, so check that out if you want to see this stuff that I haven't used, footage I haven't used. So yeah, reception of the last one was quite good. They don't get as many views, but I'm okay with that. Like, I think it's just nice to have these recaps where you don't have to watch a half-an-hour video. So yeah, check that out if you want a summary of the mission. Getting a course correction burn here. We just need to basically get our approach closer to Mars. We're just warping to it now. This takes a little while sometimes. Unfortunately, I was getting loads of lag. The Sol mod seems to struggle at higher time warps in some respects. I think it's because the craft is big. When I've used smaller craft, the time warps have been really, really fast. But I think because this is just such a massive load on the game, it just doesn't like it. But that's okay. The game will unwarp me automatically, so I can just, you know, come back to it when it's ready. I don't have to be here watching the screen the whole time, so really it's not too much of a big deal. I'm just going to do that adjustment here now, and we're going to use some RCS to fine tune the approach. And we're going to start our circularization burn. Now, if you know anything about doing Mars missions, a lot of you might want to do aero braking. I don't have a shield on this, so I just have to use my engines, but I've got more than enough delta V to make that work, so it's not a big deal. Gotta say, this looks really cool with all the modules attached. I think it looks just lovely. I love the look of it. Another long burn here, but that's okay. Now, the offset weight did mean that if you look at my nav ball, you'll see where my spacecraft is pointing, it starts to very, very, very gently drift. So eventually I engaged the reaction control system to correct for that, and it does a fine job of that. You can see it's drifting now. That's because the weight distribution isn't even on either side. So the engine's firing down the middle, the centre of mass is not down the middle. But once we lose the habitation module, which is causing that, then it won't be a problem. And we're just going to do an inclination adjustment here. And we do it this high above Mars because it's more efficient with the engines. So if you're ever doing inclination changes, make sure you do it at your apoapsis. And then we're going to complete another burn to circularize the orbit some more and make sure we're in a low Mars orbit. Losing the external tanks as well now because we've drained all the fuel from those, so we don't need them anymore. We wave bye-bye to them. I keep having this problem where I can't undock them, so I had to use the object thrower in the debug menu to destroy the docking ports attached to them, and that just lets me decouple them. Gotta say as well, this is the first Mars mission on the Sol mod. The textures look fantastic. They've done such an epic job with the textures. It really, really looks amazing. You'll see in a moment as well, there's some beautiful texture work on the surface as well. Lots more objects and things to look at. We're detaching the habitation module now. This is the exciting part. We're going to start to land this equipment that we've spent so long preparing on the Martian surface. We'll get a better look at how this design works. Lowering our orbit into the atmosphere here using the engines that are attached. Hiding them away again inside the cargo bays so we can do our entry interface. Opening them up again here and firing them up to slow us down a little bit. There we go. And we get those parachutes out like so. And I had the just right amount of fuel left. You'll see I actually ran out of fuel when I cut my engines here. But we burn them for one final braking manoeuvre. And the landing legs do the rest of the work. Run out of fuel just above the surface. Boom. And we're down. Bit of a hard landing, but hey, the gear handled it well, right? Get those solar panels up, and that's going to keep it operational while we land the rover. I tried to land these as close together as possible. There was a bit of distance, maybe a kilometre or so between each module, a couple of kilometres. Thankfully, I was able to simply drive the rover to and fro in order to ferry the astronauts where I needed to get them. And I just did it on 4x time warp as well to make things a bit quicker. Getting that detached there, using the RCS to lower the orbit. I did lower the orbit of the oval spacecraft here as well, between the habitation landing and landing the rover here, just to make sure I used less RCS to lower this craft's orbit. Unfortunately, I didn't get the footage for that. I forgot to record that bit, but It's a basic homing transfer, you guys have seen it all before. Getting the parachutes open for this one. We're going to lose that heat shield. And we'll use the little sky crane on top to drop the rover onto the surface, and then we'll ditch the sky crane by boosting its engines up to as full power as I can before detaching it. There we go, and off it goes, and that's just going to get destroyed. Getting the solar panel out, so we have consistent power, and a little communications dish coming right up as well, primarily for aesthetics. I don't play using Kerbal. I just find it frustrating and annoying, so I don't like using it. My interest with this game is the flying the missions, the orbital mechanics, and making the spacecraft look cool. That's my interests. Trying to make them look semi-realistic as well. So we're getting the lander ready now, using that small engine there to deorbit the lander. And we're going to use trajectories once again to aim as best we can for the site near the rover. And we get it fairly close. Using a lot of RCS to adjust, and I'm also making sure my inclination is as close as I can get it as well. And we're just going to have to go prograde for a moment there to increase our speed, otherwise we're going to fall too short. And the re-entry begins. Get those solar panels away, and down we come. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff. Getting the chutes deployed now. We'll lose that heat shield, uncovering the main engines. We'll get the main chutes deployed as well, and we'll use those engines to complete our landing. Plenty of fuel in this thing, so I can use a little bit of it on the landing. I don't need to save all of it for the ascent. There we go. And the rover is going to make its way autonomously to the lander, get the astronauts out, and make its way to the habitation module. Now, I disabled the collision on parallax because this thing would be a nightmare to drive otherwise. It was not designed for parallax, so I just wanted to disable it, and it makes the autopilot a bit easier to use. So yeah, I just like the rocks looking pretty more than anything. I'm sure there's some amazing rover designs out there that use parallax to its full potential, but I'm not one of those people. Having one Kerbal hang out on the back there because I didn't have enough crew space inside. There's only room for two apparently, so we're just going to have him hang out there. I'm sure it's a lovely ride. Time warping through this. Not too much of a drive, thankfully. Eventually I start to see it poking out over the hill with the solar panels sticking up, indicating that I have in fact gone in the right direction. And here we are at the habitat, our first proper outpost on Mars. I'm sure they'll be happy to take their spacesuits off and have a lie down after such a long journey. Planting the flag, getting the group photo. Homestead on Mars, what a sight. And we're going to get ourselves ready for bed. After spending some time on the Martian surface doing science, exploring, it's time for them to go home. So we're going to get them out of the surface base here, back into the rover, and we're going to take them back to the ascent vehicle, dock it up with the transfer stage, and bring them back. We're just getting some cool views out the window here from the base, and we're going to get them in that rover. You can see in the distance there as we drive away, sticking up over the horizon. And eventually I want to send some more modules down and grow the base out a little bit. I think it would be cool to have a few in this region so they can hop between different buildings, have a little base, make it look cool, and the rover will act as the ferry for the astronauts to go back and forth. But for now we're just using it to bring them back to our ascent vehicle. Just speeding along here. It's not too long of a drive, it's about maybe 2 or 3 minutes for time warp on, so it doesn't take too long. And here, there is the lander coming up to it now. Still there, waiting and ready. And they've arrived, and they're walking up. They'll climb that ladder and make their way back to space. Here we are. The rover there, parked at a safe distance to make sure it doesn't get destroyed by the launch, which we're doing now. Rising away from the surface of Mars after our first successful long-term habitation. Very high above the surface here, and we're just going to make it to orbit. Now, the setup of this mission was designed such that the spacecraft was in a equatorial orbit around Mars, so this rendezvous will be very straightforward, thankfully. And the redesign of the lander from the last video means that I have plenty more fuel to play with, and the rendezvous is no problem whatsoever. Just reaching orbit in a moment here. Those Terrier engines are great for this kind of stuff. The Martian atmosphere is quite thin compared to Earth, so you get more of the efficiency in the atmosphere than you would on Kerbal, which is nice. Doing our rendezvous now as well. Making sure our inclination is correct, which it now is. And we're just going to meet up with the spacecraft in orbit. I was thinking about maybe sending communications tower down, like some more habitation modules. I know there's some really cool mods that add surface-based stuff. I've been toying with the idea of installing them, so we'll see. I try and keep all my designs stock where I can, because I like to be able to share the craft files and stuff like that, but if there's some cool mods out there you guys want me to try, then I'll give them a shot too. But here we are, slowly making our way to that docking port attached to the transfer spacecraft there. I've got to say, the Sol version of Mars just looks fantastic with the parallax textures as well. They've done such a good job. And we are now burning our engines on a transfer to Earth, getting away from Mars. We're keeping the fueled lander stage there, the sort of service module, because we have plenty of Delta V, and I want to keep that just in case we need the fuel on board to get the Kerbals back. Sort of a margin of safety there, but we end up not needing it either way. We do use it to deorbit the landing can and return them to Kerbin instead of using one of my Earth, instead of using one of my shuttles this time, which is what we did in the last video. I just thought, we've got the fuel to bring it back, let's use it and bring them back in the capsule. Here's our approach, just managing that, making sure that I want the spacecraft in orbit where I can easily get to it again to refuel, add more modules and send it back to Mars on a future mission. I want to try and get some more missions done with this thing because it's quite reliable at getting to Mars, having enough fuel to make the adjustments I need, put the cargo on the surface and get it back. So this will be the second successful mission of this this spacecraft, actually, because the first one we did in the previous video was also rather successful. Just making sure the inclination's a bit more aggressive, so that it is within range of the Kennedy Space Center launch site. I can actually rendezvous with it and get the correct inclination on the launch pad. Just time warping here to the circularization burn, which is now occurring. It's about a 10-minute burn with the nuclear engines having a low thrust to weight ratio, but I was just able to time warp through that again. The clouds look great, honestly. The sort of far away texture for the volumetric clouds is amazing. When you compare how this looks to when the Kerbal Space Program came out, it is leagues ahead. It is probably one of the most modded games out there, I would say, in terms of the quantity and quality of all the mods available. It's mind-blowing. Just circularizing here, and we're going to lower the orbit a little bit more as well to make sure that my heavy cargo shuttle can get within range of the spacecraft, so it can send up more fuel tanks, other heavy payloads that I might want to use. But now we're separating the landing can and the service module attached, so we can use the remaining fuel to deorbit and return the Kerbals home. Doing the deorbit burn on the night side, so we have a daylight re-entry. Separating the service module, and then I realise my chutes aren't packed. I need to repack them, but that's fine, we've got enough altitude here, so Bill just hangs out on the ladder, repacks those chutes, as you can see, and we'll be ready to return to Earth. Good spot there, I'm glad I noticed, otherwise it would have been a bit of a disaster. But here's the re-entry occurring now. And our parachutes bringing us safely to Earth once again. Got a splashdown here. I think this was off the coast of Argentina, so they can just bring some boats down to pick them up. And here we are. Mission accomplished. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll have some more videos ready for you. This one took a while, so hopefully you enjoy it. These longer projects I'm going to try and get out in between shorter videos. Cheers.